When you think of racing games and what are the best racing games of all time, you might think of games such as Forza Horizon 4, Forza Motorsport 7, or any others. But when it comes to the F1 game series, for me, there's one that stands above them all as by far the best, and that is F1 2019. Now, this is for a number of reasons, such as influence, the amount of changes it brought to the F1 games, the cars back then, the drivers, everything was just so much better about F1 in 2019. And this is why I think F1 2019 is the best F1 game of all time. For me, one of the biggest reason that F1 2019 is the best F1 game of all time is, like I said in the intro, its influence. Look at the amount of features that have came into F1 games in 2019 and then were later added back or have been a permanent thing in the game since. You look at driver transfers, which was something that everyone was wanting for years. That adds, some more depth and length into the career because it's a 10-season career, and in 2018 you'd have to change teams and then you don't know who you'd get paired up with, whereas in 2019 you can start off in a Toro Rosso and be teammates with Kvyat, then at the end of the season you could go to Mercedes and end up being teammates with Pierre Gasly. It was just brilliant how, especially back in 2019, the transfers seemed a lot more crazy, whereas they are now. In my 2023 save, I've stopped playing F1 2023 now and I'm playing 2019 again. In my 2023 save, I started at Williams with Albon. At the end of the season, Alonso announced his retirement, and instead of this crazy shake-up grid, Sargent just took Alonso's seat at Aston Martin. Whereas if that happened in 2019, you'd end up with Giovinazzi in a Renault, me in a Toro Rosso, Butler at Mercedes. It was just great to get to the end of the season and just see all these driver moves and utter carnage happen, and you'd have a totally revamped grid, and it would then give you something to play for a bit more.
And I know this isn't exclusive to 2019, but as well, look at the liveries in the game, whereas in 23, 22, a lot of them were dark, carbony, obviously to save paint and stuff, whereas in 2019 you had a yellow Renault, you had a blue Toro Rosso, a silver Mercedes, a red Ferrari, you had selection and depth, a gold Haas. You had depth in the liveries that you could see. Again, it makes the game more enjoyable because you can completely change the car you're driving. And on top of that, classic cars, as you can now see on the screen, not in the game anymore. You could use classic cars like the 1976 Ferrari, 2009 Brawn, 2010 Red Bull. You could play from almost any generation, as well as tracks as well. Germany, Russia aren't in the game now, are in the game and here. But those are my reasons why I think F1 2019 is the best F1 game of all time. Let me know what you think is the best F1 game of all time down in the comment section below. Any suggestions for future videos, please leave them there as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Let me tell you, wanna see you fly, way up on my side, till the day I die, we're headed for the silver line. Let me tell you, wanna see you move, cause there's room for two, every day, every night, we turn up to 9-9. Hey, hey, hey. Up to 9-9. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Turn up to 9-9.